where did you migrate from and to?
From Seattle, Washington to Puyallup, and then from Puyallup we went to Idaho. It's called Minidoka, but we migrated because of the Second World War started, and all Japanese were interned.
Okay. When did you migrate from each place?
From Seattle?
Yeah. When did you migrate from Seattle?
It was about a month or so after the war started.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then from there, what years? When did you migrate from there to the next place?
From Seattle, Washington, on 8th and Dearborn to Puyallup Fairground. And then we stayed in Puyallup Fairground for probably about 3 months. And then we got on a train and they shipped us over to Idaho, where it was a big intern camp. It was called Minidoka. So we stayed there. I was going into the first grade, and I stayed there till I was probably going down to third grade. Then my dad evacuated us and we went to Chicago. We lived in Chicago until the war ended. And then from Chicago we moved back to Seattle because my grandfather owned a hotel and we had a place to stay. And my dad opened up a grocery store underneath the hotel. It was a grocery store before we moved out, and we just reopened it. And so that's where I grew up. And I stayed in Seattle. We stayed in Seattle. Well, my dad sold the store in, I can't remember. Anyway, he sold the store and then moved up to Skyway. And then we had a store up there, it was called Skyway Foods. And then after he got bigger, it became an IGA store up in Skyway. My dad is still alive. He's 103 years old now. But he sold the property in Skyway, so that's what he's living off of.
Okay, what cultural changes and differences did you experience, when moving from place to place?
Well, actually, there was no cultural difference. It's just that I know my grandmother and grandfather were Buddhists, but my dad was a Christian, and I became a Christian because I went to Japanese Baptist church from the year 3 years old, and so I was always a Christian from then on.
Is there any interesting stories you'd like to share from your migrations?
Well, I remember the first day that I was in Idaho, school started, and my mom said, walk 2 blocks and go to school. And I told Mom, I said, I was only 5 years old. I said, Mom, you're not going to walk me to school? And she knew that, we were only Japanese in the camp, so I did walk up there kind of scared, but when I got to the playground, I'd seen all my friends from the Japanese Baptist nursery, and so I was really happy. I came home, told my mom, I said, Richard and David and Kaworu and Steve, they're all there. And she wasn't surprised, but I was surprised because I didn't realize that we were only all Japanese up there in camp. So we stayed in camp for about 3 years, and then my dad moved us out of camp and we moved to Chicago. I lived in Chicago, and we lived there till the war ended. And then we came back to Seattle because my grandfather owned property here in Seattle. And it's near Chinatown.
That was the grocery store?
Yeah.
Okay. What was your favorite place that you lived at?
Well, actually, it seemed like everywhere I went, I enjoyed it. There was I didn't see anything different. I enjoyed Seattle, I guess, because that's where I started my, I started kindergarten, then we got evacuated, so went back to Bailey Gatzer when we came back from camp, and I was going into the 4th grade. Graduated from Bailey Gatzer, went to Washington Junior High School, and then I graduated from Garfield High School.